Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the basic rules of logarithm. All right, so let's start with the first one. Log A base C plus log B base C is equals to log of A times B to the base of C. Okay, so at any point of time, A and B, they are both greater than 0, right? If it's 0 or less, then it doesn't work. Okay. So remember, we can only log a value that is greater than 0. Right? So similarly, the base C also has to be greater than 0. And C cannot be equals to 1. Right? So these are the basic rules, the parameters to take note of. Okay. Okay, so an example for rule number 1. Right? So let's say I have log 5 base 10 plus log 3 base 10. Right? So that's equivalent to log 15 base 10, right? So 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so that's the first rule. Okay, so let's talk about the second rule. So similarly, okay, I can have log A base C minus log B base C. This is equals to log of A divided by B base C. Okay, so an example, I can have log 20, right, base 10 minus log 10 base 10. Okay, so that's equals to log 2 base 10. Okay, so you see how it works, right? So at any point of time, do remember this criteria. Okay, so whatever log that you do, this is always true. Okay, and also the base has to be the same in order for this rule to make sense. Okay, so just take note of that, right? So if the bases are different, then this rule does not apply. Okay, so let's talk about rule number 3. Okay, so if I have log B base C equals to A, then B is equals to C to the power of A. Okay, so example, okay, so log 8 base 2 is equals to 3. Okay, so you can actually verify this using your calculator, right? If is log 8 base 2 equals to 3, right? It should be, okay? And it makes sense, right? 8 is 2 to the power of 3. Okay, so that's a general idea. Okay, so rule number 4. Log B to the power of A base C is equals to A times log B base C. Right, so notice that I can bring down the power, right, and multiply it to log B base C. Okay, so something to take note of is that this power, it belongs to B, right? It's not the entire log B base C. Okay, so quite often students will make this mistake. Okay. All right, so this is quite a common mistake. So this is wrong. All right, take note that this power A applies to the entire thing here. Okay, so this is not the same as this. All right, so just be very careful about that. Okay, so as usual, an example, log 10, 5 to the power of 2, right? That is equals to 2 times log 5 base 10. Okay, or I could have a log base 10, 36. Okay, so 36 is actually 6 to the power of 2. Okay, so I can also write it as 2 times log 6 base 10. Okay, so that's the fourth rule. All right. Now, the fifth rule. Okay, so it's important for us to change the bases. Okay, so how do we change the bases? Right, so some of the calculators that we use only supports base 10 and base e, which is ln, right? So let's say we want to evaluate a logarithm that has some other base other than base 10 and base e, right? So what should we do? Okay, so let's say I have base c, okay, and log a, right? So log a base c, or rather maybe base b. Okay, let's change it to base b. Okay, doesn't really matter, just a choice of alphabets. Okay, so let's say if I want another base, I don't want base b, right? I can change it to base c by doing this. Okay, so this is equivalent to log a base c, right? So c is the choice that I wanted to change the base to. Okay, so this is equivalent to log a base c divided by log b base c. Okay, so an example, right? So if you recall just now, we did this example, log 8 base 2, right? So this is base 2. Let's say if I want to use the calculator to evaluate this, okay, I will know that this is actually also log base 10, 8 divided by log base 10, 2, right? So I chose base 10 because all the scientific calculators support base 10. Okay, so if you want, you could also choose base e. Okay, so this will be a log base e. So whether you choose base 10 or base e, the final value would be the same. Okay, so anyway, base e is also written as ln, right? Okay, so just take note of that, right? So that's the short form. And also base 10 is also written as LG, right? So sometimes you may see LG, so that's actually base 10. Okay, so any other bases, they will indicate the base. All right. Okay, so that's the fifth rule. And let's talk about some special results. Okay. All right, so if I have log a base a, that is equals to 1. Okay. And log 1 base a, that is always equals to 0. Okay, so these are the special results, right? So I can talk a little bit about why that is true. Okay, so log a base a, right? So what is log a base a? Well, if you think about one of the rules earlier, I think it was rule number 3, right? B equals to c to the power of a, right? So does it make sense? A is equals to a to the power of 1, right? So it totally makes sense, right? So log a base a is equals to 1, right? So whenever these two values are the same, right? These two values are the same, it will always be equals to 1. All right, so same for this. Okay, so log 1, all right? So what's so special about log 1? Why is this equals to 0? Okay, because log 1 can be written as log a to the power of 0, right? For instance. And again, one of the rules allows us to bring this 0 down, right? So 0 times log a base a. So whatever this value is, if you're going to multiply to 0, you're always going to get 0. All right, so hence the special results. Okay, so that's about it for the introduction. I hope you find it helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.